Greetings, back with another one. It's been a while. Recently, I just moved back home to Virginia from New York. Been back home about a week and some change now, and just the dynamic between living in a metropolis area, going back home to Now this is not necessarily where I grew up. This is Ladysmith. This is not too far from where you know I mean, most of my family is from the rural area in Central Virginia, and we're at this little club, I guess, here in the back. I don't want to show too much, but we got this long, rock, driveway leading up to the little club, and yeah, I just wanted to just let everybody know that yes, I'm still kicking. And man, you hear that, all the insects and stuff like that. New York, you would mostly hear, high fire engines and ambulances and things of that nature, and also people yelling and shouting and screaming and cursing, depending on where you live. I was uptown in a neighborhood called Washington Heights. Some of you probably know where that is, but yeah, man, just back in the rural area, man. Just got some people that live around here. I don't want to, put any addresses out there or anything. But yeah, man, throughout my childhood, as a kid, I spent a lot of time, in the countryside, and I grew up mostly in the suburbs, Chesterfield County, which is probably about 10 minutes outside the Richmond city limits. But pretty soon I'm going to be, further out, in the western region. Going to start a new job out there. Start this new chapter in my life, and I'm pretty psyched for it. But man, oh man, I'm really sick or tired of this heat. I do not like the heat at all. I'm more of a fall, winter person. Just bugs and just that, that feeling when you get up in the morning and you take a quick shower and stuff like that, and you go outside and you're outside for like 30 minutes and you feel like you're never even taking one. I just hate that feeling. I don't mind, perspiring if I'm doing something active, like playing ball or just working out or something like that. But just standing here, oh man, it sucks. And we got about another month and a half to go of this, the summer season. And then we'll, coast into the fall, into the autumn, which is what I'm waiting for. To me, it's just my favorite time of year, the harvest season, Samhain, Halloween, around that, just that time, I just love that time, And all the foliage, it turns just like the little bright orange color and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. The leaves start falling down, and, because I prefer, I don't mind a little snow, white winters, something like that. Man, it just, if you live in the countryside, if you're from the countryside, you know exactly. I mean, just look at all this right here. Now, in the northern part of New York State, you see a lot of this in New York State. A lot of people, when they think New York, they just think of the boroughs, the boroughs. That's about it. Unfortunately, I was never able to make it upstate. I was actually banking on finding finding a place up there, but it didn't pan out. But this new opportunity came up back back in VA, so I'm pretty stoked about that. Yeah, but feel free to let me know how y'all summer's been going. I mean, for me, it's been torturous. The only time I really enjoyed the summertime is when during the school years, in grade school, because summer school was out. That was the only time I was looking forward to the summertime when I was a kid. But when you're an adult and the concept of work and bills and taxes are introduced, for me, now I'm just waiting for the summer to end all the time. In my older years, got some broken down, tables out here. Man, oh man, and I'm just gonna just walk up and down the driveway. Got some relatives in the building there. I'm just waiting for, somebody to come out. Yeah, I just can't wait to get back and just, fix me some supper. I eat a lot of, it's just meat and veg for me. I eat a lot of red meat. I'm a big steak person, some steak and some onions and tomatoes. And that's kind of my go-to, whenever I decide to cook anything, and I don't get too crazy. Even though a lot of my employment background, takes place in kitchens and stuff like that, I'm no stranger to the kitchen, but I'd like to keep it simple. I don't go too crazy. As soon as I get myself straight, in my, place that I'm trying to get, out in the western region of Virginia, I really would like to, get into like wild game hunting and stuff like that. I've always wanted to get into that. My mom's old friend, he was into that stuff, but I was too little and back in those days, I was just too little to understand. But I would really like to get into it, wild game meat and stuff like that. Hopefully, I would like to have like a little, not too much, or like a small greenhouse where I can grow like my own vegetables and stuff like that. Because I really would like to have like a cabin ranch home. That's I would like to have someday. As I get older, I always said, I wasn't going to be in the big city for that long. I thought I was going to be up there for about at least a decade, but 6 years was enough for me for a multitude of reasons. None I won't get into it right now, but man, yeah, it's all about where your heart is, I guess. It's the times when I was in New York City, it just never forgot where I come from, and it was never any sentimental value for me. That time when I was up there, I was up there to dip my toe into, because I studied theater and stuff like that and acting, and I was trying to get up there and give that a go. By the time I moved up there like 2019 September, and going into the next year, the pandemic and Resident Evil happened up there, and just the way they handled that in New York. New York was just one of the worst states that handled it, especially in the city. I mean, they shut everything down, and I was a part of a little acting program and everything, and just, man, I was dealing with people I was corresponding with people who was, they would actually fly from Los Angeles to meet with us once a week at the Roosevelt Hotel in Manhattan. And that was pretty cool for a while. And then right when I was going to do my showcase and everything and perform in front of casting directors, people who cast for like major networks and stuff like that, and I was excited, but they shut all that down because of Resident Evil. And but when they said when one door closes another one opens, and fortunately for me, that dream is not gone just yet. Where I'm going to be staying, they're actually trying to put the Blue Ridge area on the map here in Virginia. They're they have aspiring writers, directors, and actors out there in the Blue Ridge area where I'm going to be staying, not too far. And I'm definitely going to get in touch with them and correspond with them. And because that's the thing, I've been saying for a while, independent filmmaking is the future. If not, it's already here. The AAA stuff, a lot of it in terms of just the standard and what we're used to is not really there anymore. You see, I mean, I'm not a a statistician when it comes to box office and stuff like that in terms of film history. I like to study it, but I don't study the box office or anything like that. But it wouldn't surprise me if Hollywood, as far as Hollywood production is concerned, it would not surprise me if we've had the greatest loss of a box office, probably like the most flops in film history. It would not surprise me if somebody came out with those statistics of how the film industry in terms of the AAA status has been doing. It would not surprise me if somebody had those numbers and was like, yeah, this is the worst we've seen. I mean, I pretty much just watch a lot of older stuff. It just seems that the inspiration for writers nowadays, at least in the big markets, it just seems like a lot of people want to just piggyback off IPs that's already been established for multiple generations, and it seems like nobody wants to do anything new any longer. At least that's what I get. And so I mean, I heard about independent films coming out of the state of Ohio, coming out of Florida, and coming out of Texas. Some there's Canada does a lot too. In the Vancouver and the Ontario area, a lot of independent films did, because I heard that what's the actor's name, John Lovitz. Some of you may know John Lovitz, but he was talking about it because the state of California, they didn't want to pay something, so a lot of filmmakers are making their films outside of California because they don't want to pay something. I don't know. Maybe someone can go into more, articulate that better than I can. But I remember he was talking about something like that. So a lot of filmmakers, American filmmakers, they go all over the world to make films, so it's nothing new. But as far as the independent circuit is concerned, it doesn't have to be Hollywood land any longer. It doesn't have to be. It's not the only game in town anymore. So, and just like I said, here in the state of Virginia, you have a lot of inspiration. In fact, Tim Reed, some of you may know who he is. He was, I believe he's still together with Daphne Reed. Tim Reed, I remember him from the show Sister Sister. Some of the older generation may know him from that radio station show that he did. I forget what it's called. I think it's called Cincinnati something. He was known for that as well. And Daphne Reed, she played Aunt Viv on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Some of you may know who she is. But those two, they started a film company here in Virginia many years ago. I think it's probably like 20 plus years ago. Unfortunately, they're no longer up and running, but they should be. But it just goes to show you, man. I mean, with a little inspiration and with a large enough community of people who are influenced and inspired the same way that you are in terms of the art of filmmaking, and of course finances as well. You can't get anything started with finances. So yeah, man, I mean, that would be a dream of mine, just to have my own film company, my own lot, like say what you want to say about him, but like Tyler Perry, I mean, I think that would be great to have something like that. You have your own studio lot and your own, like say, you could have your own distribution company. That'd be great. But like I said, now everything is going digital now, so distribution company is not it's not really in demand like it used to be, but because everything's online, everything's streamed service now. So but yeah, man, I mean, Stanley Kubrick, I'm sure if you probably know who he is. Stanley Kubrick, best known for Clockwork Orange and The Shining and a smattering of other films that I can't name right now. But yeah, I mean, he didn't attend film school or anything. I don't think he had any schooling. He actually started out making short films with the camera, just the camera that he had, and now he's known as one of the the greatest filmmakers we've ever had. So I mean, it just goes to show you, just with a little inspiration and determination and will, and a great sense of networking, and some finances as well. It's no There's no telling what you can do. Yeah, I'm just walking back and forth of this gravel, rock / grass driveway. You know, I'm deep in the country here, so it's no stranger to me. You know, as a little boy, just walking up and down, running through the fields and stuff like that, and through corn stalks, and you know, trying to avoid snakes of any kind, and making sure you get in before the lights go. I mean, before the sun sets, because out here in the country, I mean, street lights are very, very scarce. You know, so I'm actually waiting on my mom's waiting for her to hurry up so we can get out of here, because you know, brother getting hungry. So but look at this, man. It's all this right here. And just, you know, I'm sure that I mean, this property is owned by somebody, but I'm sure they probably get the county, you know, to mow the lawn and everything. But yeah, man, we're probably like, you know, just about half into the summer, and not too much longer to go. I can't wait until the forecast dropped. You know, I like the mid 50s. That's what I like. I wish it was a place that I knew of here in the States where it was like that all year. Maybe Alaska, I don't know. But there's parts of Alaska, because Alaska's way up there in the north. I believe it's like parts of Alaska. I think it's some parts where the sun doesn't set at all, because you're, you know, up there to the pole, you know. And I'm sure in Canada, the further you go up in Canada, you know, the sun doesn't set. But I wonder if you can see the aurora borealis in Alaska or in Canada. Probably not. You know, most people, they like to go to the, you know, like the Netherlands, or you know, countries up there like Finland, you know, Norway, and you know, up there to see all that stuff. I don't know if you can see them here in the Western Hemisphere. If the further up north you go, you probably could if you go up to Canada somewhere. But yeah, man, I just wanted to give y'all this, just to give y'all something, because it's been a while, because I was in the process of, you know, packing up and leaving New York, coming back home to Virginia. So and also update, I need a new microphone, because I normally use like OBS to like record my videos and stuff like that. And I believe after the Windows update, Windows 11, I just guess some of the equipment that I used to, like I guess my microphone was just no longer compatible with the new update. So I gotta, you know, that's the thing about PC, when everything updates, sometimes you gotta update your equipment as well. So I gotta get me a new microphone. And I've been wanting to, I mean, right when the Gears of War E-Day, you know, announcement date, and all of the gameplay footage dropped, I was so hyped, and I wanted to make videos talking about it, but my mic got busted. You know, my webcam still works, and I still got this very nice, you know, camcorder that I'm going to use, and I'm going to buy me another one, because I'm on my way to, you know, making a good penny for myself, not too far away. But once I get settled in my new place and all that stuff, I'll definitely have my setup the way that I want it, probably upgrade a little bit. But yeah, man, let me talk about the Gears of War E-Day stuff a little bit. From what I've seen, or from what I've heard, you know, what TC was talking about, they completed their rework on the movement. I've seen the rotary one, the way it looks now, it looks very, very different now. I mean, you can slide now. I mean, it looks kind of like Resident Evil 6-esque. You know, the way that you can like kind of like prone back on the floor, and the way the cover system works now, how you can get really, really low all the way on your back. It looks really, really cool. I'm really, really hyped for it. I mean, like I've always said, the more gears, the better. I'm really, really excited for it. And they brought a new shotgun to the mix. I think it's called the Incinerator. It kind of resembles the sawed-off a little bit. I'm excited to use that. I know a lot of people are probably not, but I missed the sawed-off. So I've always wanted, you know, at least 2 or maybe 3 shotguns for gears. You know, we got with 3 assault rifles. We got the Lancer, we got the Retro Lancer, and we got the Hammerburst. Well, actually we got technically 4. You know, we got the Enforcer, if you want to call that an assault rifle. It's more like a SMG, but we got 4 of those bad boys. So I've always wanted more shotguns, and you know, Gears of War 3 introduced it, and Gears of War Judgment, you know, kept it. But the property of the shotgun, it wasn't as powerful. You know, I mean, very most often you had to use both shots to, you know, get a kill, stuff like that. So they weakened it a little bit in Judgment, but it was still in there. It was still in there. So I'm glad that we're getting a new shotgun. I believe it's called Incinerator. It's like a Locust shotgun. It uses like the emotion. It uses the emotion fuel to power up the shots and stuff like that. So I think you're just shooting emotion at people, from what I've seen from the footage. But it looks really cool, man, and I think they have some sort of a grenade launcher on there. Personally, I just want them, but like I said, now this, but see, this is E-Day now, so this is 14 years before the first game. Maybe we may see the Gorgon pistol again, used by the Kantus. Maybe we may see, because, you know, after the light mass bomb attack in the first Gears, or was it Gears 1 or Gears 2? Yeah, we get a light mass bomb killed all of the Nemesis, so that's why we no longer saw the ink grenades in Gears of War 3. And the Krill and all that stuff, it killed the Krill and it killed all the Nemesis. Because that's what the ink grenades were. They were just baby Nemesis. That's why you saw the ink and stuff like that. So maybe we may get the ink grenades back. I wouldn't mind seeing the breach shot. The breach shot is basically a Marksa modified by the Locust with no scope in it, and it had a little bit more kick to it as well. It was a more powerful Marksa that was upgraded by the Locust, and the Locust, I think they put like a blade on the stock so you can swing it like an axe. It was really, really cool. Maybe we may see the mortar come back. Maybe the Hammer Dawn, you probably can use that. Well, probably not, because this is E-Day, so this is when the Locust threat first arrived. So Adam Phoenix and his partner, they didn't come up with the finishing touches for the Hammer of Dawn until maybe 14 years after that, once they discover a better and a more effective and lethal way to take out the Locust. So this is the beginning. So they may not go too all out. You know, this is the Locust making their introduction to Planet Sera. But so yeah, I mean, but hey, I would love to see, but just to see all the Locust enemy types. You know, from what I've seen from the footage, we've seen regular drones and stuff like that. I don't remember seeing any bombers or Kantus. And maybe we may see Mira. We may see Adam. And this is, you know, 14 years before, so people are going to be a lot younger. You know, I've seen Marcus and Dom; they look super young, and maybe Carlos Santiago, Dom's brother, maybe he will be a playable character in multiplayer, maybe, we don't know. But I would like to, and you're probably gonna see a younger Colonel Hoffman, who I play with a lot. I always play with him. I play with him in Cold Train. I go back and forth between those guys. And you know, I pretty much, you know, did my toe playing with everybody, Marcus too. But yeah, man, I'm just hyped to who we're gonna see. Maybe we see you know, Anya. Maybe we'll see her, because I know her and Marcus knew each other for a long time. And may see Kim. Will we see Colin Baird? I don't know. I'm just you know, just hyped at who we might see character wise on both sides. You know, will Rom rear his ugly face? Will we see Scourge? And don't know. Will we see wretches? You know, we've seen corpses. I think we've seen corpses in the gameplay footage. And that gameplay footage, the one I've seen, like in terms of the campaign, when they went to the supermarket, Marcus was jumping over the freezer boxes, the refrigerator boxes. I was like, what in the world is going on here? So yeah, they completely reworked the movement from the ground up, and it's going to be like no Gears that we've ever seen. So I mean, but like I said, this is a spinoff. So I hope that TC, the Coalition, I hope we do get a Gears 6 after this. You know, you can't leave Gears 5 on a cliffhanger the way that they did. You know, we gotta resolve our issue with Reyna, Queen Reyna, and see how they, you know, handle that. I want them to start working on a Gears 6 after, you know, E-Day, you know, gets brought out to the public and gets his feet wet and all that other stuff. I want them to finish the second trilogy. I know a lot of people may not care for it, but I'm already waist deep in it. I played 4, I played 5, I'm still playing 5, and I just want them to conclude the trilogy, and then they could do whatever they want. But yeah, man, E-Day is right around the corner. Was October is not too far, so I should be in my new place settled and have my setup and all that stuff good to go. Yeah, man, I'm just getting my, I got this little watch, a little smart watch on, so I'm just getting my steps in. Mother taking all day to come out. And oh yeah, my buddy, he's been playing the new Star Fox game. He has some gameplay footage out there. I really gotta, I really want to watch that and make commentate on it, on his gameplay too. I might do that. But I'm also glad that they made another Star Fox game. I know a lot of people I know it was heavily criticized by the look of the characters, but me personally, I don't mind. These are fictional animal characters anyway, so I didn't really look into it, and I don't want to bash. Like I said, I can understand people's criticism cause like I said, here, if you go through all of the Star Fox games, they have reinvented Fox's look and the other characters' looks damn near every game. They never really looked exactly the same way. But Falco, like I said, Falco got the talons instead of the man feet. Foxes, like I said, they look more animal-like and stuff like that. So like I don't mind. It's like when I see the characters, I know Fox McCloud when I see him. I know Falco, Lombardi, whatever his last name is. I know those characters when I see them. So yeah, my buddy's been playing that, and I'm just hyped. I don't want to like go in on it too, because I just think for the Star Fox fans out there, I say tread softly, because if you destroy it too much, Nintendo might be discouraged to make another one. I mean, look how long it took for us to get another Star Fox game. So we'll just see how this one does, and hopefully we'll get more. I don't know if we got another Metroid. I don't know, but hopefully some of the IPs that we don't usually see come out every single time they drop another Nintendo console, we'll get more of. Because we're always going to get a Mario, we're always going to get a Zelda, but sometimes I worry about, Star Fox and, Metroid, and maybe like it's like you're always going to get a Pokemon game too. But we don't always get Star Fox, we don't always get Metroid. Kirby games may come out, but they're not heavily promoted though. One of my buddies, he's been playing the latest one. I forget this. It kind of looks like a beat 'em up. It's like a side scroll. It looks like a beat 'em up. It looks pretty fun. I forget what it's called. But I need to get back into my Nintendo, my Nintendo realm. Been neglecting it for a while. But right now, I'm just worried about E-Day right now. That game, I'm gonna put a lot of hours in. It's gonna take a lot of my time when I'm not working, or whenever I got some free time, I'll do it. And I definitely will. When E-Day drops, I would definitely try to at least capture some footage of me playing the campaign, and just to share my experience with the game and how much I love that IP. Gears of War is like my top 2, top 3 favorite games of all time. So I've stuck with it for so long, and I don't see any reason to turn my back on it. As long as I can get on and shred people, that's all right with me. Yeah, but that about sums up everything up, at least for now. I just wanted to to give you guys something, because I think it's been now about 2 months since I've made anything. But like I said, that's when my microphone went down right before I left, and I was like, I could have been doing doing stuff like this on my phone, or making like little screen recorders and stuff like that. That's what I was going to do, but sometimes brothers be lazy sometimes. So, but just out here in the countryside, and just, I don't know how good the audio is gonna come up, especially with all these insects making all this noise. But if you If you're from the rural area, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Not too bad though, I mean, it ain't steaming hot out here. I mean, you know, the sun is getting ready to set, probably about another 30 minutes, probably another hour maybe. It ain't too hot, but it's hot enough for me. You know, I just hate warm weather. I don't like warm weather. You know, I want it in the 50s, low 50s, mid 50s. That's what I like. And I don't mind a little rain every now and again. I don't mind a little snow every now and again either. You know, my birthday is in the wintertime anyway, so I'm used to that. You know, the snow and the freezing rain and all that stuff. So up there in New York, you know, we had a couple of blizzards up there. I enjoyed it though. I enjoyed it. You know, it has to snow during the winter season. At least for me, it has to snow at least, you know, a few times to make it really feel like winter. I don't know how they deal with it in the West Coast, where it never snows. It's just kind of weird for me, you know, growing up in the East Coast. You know, it always snowed in the wintertime. So, but yeah, man, I just wanted to let you guys know, yeah, I'm still kicking. Everything's fine. So 31 cents added, another one for the archives. It's your brother Bleak signing out. Until next time, you guys. Whoosh.